My early beginnings started with music at the age of 7, which then evolved into professional music and theater programs from the age of 10 and onward. I always had an ear for sound at an early age, and that stemmed from the urge of wanting to learn a particular song, whether it was being from a favorite film or musical cast album, for example, and dissecting the instrumentation completely, tuning out the vocals, and then being able to reproduce almost an exact replica of that recording was pretty much the thing that I did back then. And then this ability only progressed even further into my professional career, even more so when creating original material where a certain sound is being aimed for in the style of a certain artist, and being able to capture that musical world while fusing the similar instrumentation into a new work. For Get Spooked, being that this was my salute to the 90s era of children horror television and film programs, I definitely wanted to capture that iconic fusion of funk, hip-hop, rock sound that was very popular in almost anything you'd hear musically on television programs or commercials geared towards adolescents or teens during that time. The ultimate inspiration for Get Spooked came from composer Jack Lynn's famous theme song from the 1995 Goosebumps television series. That show spooked me as a kid quite a bit, hence the song title. But now I own almost all of the original books, so there's that. But the additional inspiration also came from composer Sergei Prokofiev's Dance of the Nights from the ballet score of Romeo and Juliet that I discovered when I was in 5th grade. After developing, this was right after me developing a love for the work of Tchaikovsky, and it just became an endless rabbit hole of discovering more and more symphony composers onward. But there were also musical elements from a handful of radio song artists I recalled from my younger days that gave me eerie vibes too back then, that ended up being worked into this recording as well, such as the 80s hip-hop group Houdini. One of the major things that sparked my love for silent films and ballet productions were that the story being communicated to the audience heavily depended on the orchestra for driving the emotions being expressed on stage through body movements, the facial expressions, and overall body language. When originally composing Get Spooked, I applied those same details. One of the cool things about this recording is combining the symphonic and electronic synthesizer sounds in one world. I was completely in love with this creative orchestration approach when I first learned it was a thing many years ago. And I know for me, storytelling within a song, whether it's for radio, TV, or film, is what primarily captured my attention from as early as when I was a kid with a vivid imagination. So coming from my most recent experiences, putting the listener on a roller coaster experience instead of a continuous loop can be one of the many great achievements in songwriting. So if you're just listening to only the soundtrack single of Get Spooked, you're still able to have that roller coaster experience. I will add that listening to the recording in the dark is twice the fun. Just saying. Just try it. I did it a couple of times. Even though I knew exactly what was going to happen, sound cues and such, I just would always start on a blank slate as if I've never heard it before and just experience the moments all over again. It's quite a fun thing. So the creative challenge within the music video production was piecing all of the pre-filmed footage from various sources and cinematographers. This was weeks of sorting out the right clips that fit the right mood of the composition, and also being that these clips were from various independent cinematographers, I, as the editor, had to make all of the clips look as though they really belonged together. Which in some cases involved having to make adjustments to film exposure, color grading, and overall saturation, etc. For the composition, to the orchestrations, to the marketing, to the scenic design, the weeks of post-production, the end result of it all exceeded my expectations, honestly, and now you all get to experience it. The Get Spooked single is now available on all streaming platforms. And if you're a person that still likes to jam out to CDs, or just plain collect them, the physical CD of Get Spooked single is also available through the merch store on the music information page via Linktree. So go get them. Like now. Seriously. Go grab them before they're all gone.